Hi, I'm Andrea Costantine, and you're watching Community Talk TV. This week is a Movers, Shakers, and Difference Makers Spotlight featuring Diane Conklin from the Diane Conklin Foundation. And Diane, will you just start by just sharing a little bit about the foundation, like what the mission is and what you're doing with it?
Sure, I would love to. It is the Diane Conklin Foundation, and essentially what we're doing is we're an organization who's been formed to help essentially any teenager, but specifically lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, and questioning teens who, unfortunately, in our world today are getting thrown out of their houses and their families are kicking them out to a very large degree. And so we're dealing with sort of a combination of things. That issue, so teens are becoming homeless, unfortunately. There's currently somewhere in the vicinity, according to the statistics that I've seen, about 2 million teenagers that are homeless at any point in a year in the United States. And up to 40% of those happen to be gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, or questioning their sexual orientation. And so our organization is really there long-term. We want to really provide housing assistance as well as then where do you go after you graduate high school? Where do you go to college? Do you become an entrepreneur? What life skills and business skills do you need in order to move forward in your life? And, hopefully not have to worry about being discriminated against. It's about hope, Andrea. To me, that's what it's about. It's about, can I provide hope to a teenager and save a life in a situation where maybe nobody else cared? And who knows what that kid turns into? The CEO of a corporation, the next president of the United States, just somebody who goes out and does something good in the world. That's enough for me.
Yeah, that's great. So you shared a little bit about the statistics about how many youth are out there, but do you have any more information on what the problem is at hand and how many people are actually affected by getting kicked out of their home, by being homeless, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because as a friend of mine said, I was talking to the other day, he said, Diane, this is an epidemic and nobody's aware of the epidemic. So if you take the 2 million homeless youth, take 60% of those being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or questioning what they're doing, 62% of those kids are committing suicide. Not attempting, committing. That's a child. That's one of our growing human beings on the street committing suicide every 75 seconds in the United States. It's staggering. I mean, I've got all sorts of statistics about, the percentages of kids that are being abused, that have some sort of issues. It's like 83% of the homeless gay youth feel like they've had some sort of sexual harassment or some sort of bullying happen to them in this whole coming out process. So the numbers are really staggering, but I think the big one for me is that 62% of these kids are committing suicide. It's like I said, it's at epidemic levels, and it's not something that's getting talked about.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you know, but suicide's a big issue for me because my father committed suicide. So that's something that I definitely am a huge advocate for, suicide prevention and suicide awareness. And when I think about people that young, I mean, my father was 30, but for people who are that young to think that that's the alternative for, that's the choice for them right now, it breaks my heart. So.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I said, my message is about hope. How do you take that kid who's an adolescent, right, who's going through all of that emotional thing that, being as old as I am, I barely remember now. But all of that stuff that you went through, right, as a teenager, and all of the changes that go on in your body and in your life, and thinking about college and all of these things. Well, these kids are not concerned about those same things. I mean, they're concerned about things like my family and friends not accepting me. 26% of the kids say that. Trouble with bullying in school. Afraid to be out and open. When most teenagers are thinking about their grades and classes and boys and that kind of thing, this is what's happening, in these adolescents' lives. And so you add, one thing on top of the other, and for a lot of them, they just don't see another way out. And again, my message really is you could be doing, have anything you want, no matter what it looks like right now, no matter what it looks like today, no matter how hard it is in the moment. There's somebody out there that that genuinely does care about you and wants to make a difference in your life.
Yes, I totally agree. GLBT youth who are kicked out of their homes end up living on the streets or taking jobs in seedy places just to make ends meet. There are some shelters available, but transgender youth has an extremely difficult time finding places to go and to fit in. Therefore, some of these kids are sleeping in abandoned houses and are living in very unsafe conditions. In your experience, what do you think it takes to help somebody know that their life matters and has meaning? What do you think that looks like?
I think like a lot of things, unfortunately, it looks different for a lot of us, but um, just a kind word, a smile, recognition that the person is there. How many times do we walk out on the street and, avert our eyes when we see that person sitting there? And legitimately, yeah, it's somebody's going to beg or whatever the thing is. But I think it's that. I think it's making contact. I think it's making people feel special, making them feel appreciated, letting them know that genuinely there is somebody, even if it's just for that moment, who smiles at them, who says hello, who acknowledges them. You never know when just that is enough to keep somebody from from committing suicide or hurting somebody else in that moment and in that day. And I think that's how we live, right? One moment at a time. And if you can make that difference, to me, that's what life is about.
Yeah, I agree. I always tell people to just give somebody, a homeless person, eye contact. If you don't want to give them money or food or anything else, just give them the dignity of knowing that they're still a human being. And I always give eye contact as I drive by the homeless people. We have a lot in Denver, and they wave back at me or give me a thumbs up sign or just smile, and it just makes me feel good that they know that I'm seeing them, even if I'm not giving them something in that moment. And it goes so much further than we can ever measure. So I love that. So thank you. What do you think will help shift this? You called it an epidemic, and I believe it's an epidemic as well. What do you think will help shift this epidemic in our country?
I think part of it is awareness, because I think that people just aren't looking here and don't know. And I think it starts in many ways in our schools and in our homes, because, starting in the schools and talking about things that make people different. Everybody knows somebody that's different. Whether it's that they're gay, whether that's they have a different color hair, they're a different ethnicity, whatever it is, and teaching them that our differences is what makes this world go around. It's not what it should be. The thing that brings us together, not the thing that pulls us apart. Whether it's the color of your skin, whether it's your sexual orientation, whether it's your male or female, pick the issue. We can choose to let things divide us or unite us. And I think, for a lot of these young people, when they're learning those lessons at home, if we can take a different stand in our schools and teach them different things, I think that's where the world starts to change.
Yeah, and you're speaking my same language. I mean, this is the same stuff I'm always out there preaching and talking about, so I love it. So tell us more about what solutions your foundation is focusing on. What are you guys doing?
My big thing right now is I really want to get with other nonprofits that are working in the same kinds of areas, because I think one of the mistakes that we make with any cause that we have is that people begin to compete with each other for the services, for the money, for all of those things. I think if we can come together and work together in this cause, there's some great organizations. There's the Trevor Project dealing with gay teen suicide. There's several other organizations that I would like to sit down with in a big forum or a big meeting and say, how do we take all of the things that we want to do, whether it's bullying, whether it's homelessness, whether it's gay teen suicide, how do we now take all of that and work together? Not, as one big nonprofit, but together in a sharing way so that we can expand, we can all do better, so that we don't have to compete for the same things. I'm not a gay teen suicide expert, but we have the Trevor Project inside of our website. So if you're a teen and you find us and you're in that need, you simply click on that and it'll take you to the professional. I don't need to duplicate that service. So right now we're sort of in our grassroots level right now, really getting started and rolling and up and doing a lot of collaboration. This kind of the thing that I want to do until we get to the point where we can start to have people who have houses in areas that we can, rezone, and who will donate those potentially, or give them to us at low rentals or low rates of purchasing. So that's, to me, is the first step, is the education piece, the collaboration piece, and then really starting to go in and give these young people a place to live that can be drug-free, sex-free, that's clean, where they can have a shower in the morning and a good breakfast and go off to school and finish their learning, and know that when they come back to their home, they have people there who can help them with the issues that they may have had to deal with during the day.
Great. So what can other people do to get involved? So if people are passionate about this issue and passionate about homeless youth, especially the GLBT population, what can they do?
Well, I would love for them to go to the site. We have a lot of resources there. Obviously, I always hate to be the one who's talking money all the time, but we are certainly a donation-driven and a fundraising-driven organization. That's just the Diane Conklin Foundation.org, or any other organization that's dealing with this. There are a lot of them. Find out where there is something in your community, and get involved. I had a parent, this was really moving. I did a little presentation at an event not too long ago, and I had a guy come up to me, and he said, and he actually lived in Denver, now that I think about it. And he said to me, my son is getting ready to leave for school, and when he leaves for college, I would like to provide his bedroom in my home. I would like to open my home up to one of these kids who's been kicked out in my area, and provide them with that family environment. Which I was so moved by. I was so touched that, he wanted to do that. So, whatever level you have, whether it's a financial thing that you can give, whether it's time that you can give, I'm a big believer in getting involved in your local community. So I think all of those things certainly help. And, if you've got the time to get involved with a group and go in and make a difference and, spend time with a young person, I don't think there's anything more gratifying than knowing that you've made a big difference in a young person's life.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so is there anything else that you'd want to share with people, or you want people to know about what you're up to and what you're creating, or anything about this issue?
I think the big thing is to remember that whether you're a parent, you're an aunt, you're a sister, a brother, whoever, and you've got somebody who's come out to you, who said to you, hey, I'm gay, hey, I'm lesbian, hey, I think I'm bisexual, I'm not sure where I fall, I'm questioning. I think my big message would be, don't judge. That person is the same person they were 5 minutes ago before they told you. They're the same person they were 24 hours ago, before you knew that they had these feelings, before you knew that they had these questions in their mind. And so if you, as the aunt, the parent, the sister, the brother, the friend, can be that soft place for them and that safe place for them, remember who the person is. They didn't change overnight because they told you they had these feelings. And again, the fact that somebody's gay or lesbian is, this much of who we are, just like being heterosexual is this much of who you are. And I think if people can remember that and not judge that piece, and immediately see that image, we all just are trying to do the best we can and to be happy in our lives, and to find that person in our life that, that makes us happy. So, I would love for you to check out. There's a video on the homepage of my site, which is the DianeConklinFoundation.org. It's the main video on there, and I would just ask everybody to take 4 minutes and go watch that video. If you really want to understand what this issue is about, that video will change the way you look at this. I guarantee you.
To learn more or to get involved, visit the DianeConklinFoundation.org. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, hit like, and share it with your friends. Also, you can register for e-news and alerts on our website at Community Talk TV.